moving to Richmond, but you're not sure exactly where because you've never really lived in Richmond. Well, there's lots of areas to explore in Richmond. As a person who grew up here and has lived in about 4 different areas of Richmond, it really depends on what you're looking for. So I grew up in Verina, which is south of Richmond, but it's what we call the East End. We orient everything to the river. And so the East End is more farmland and country, and I don't want to say small town because not anymore, but does have that small town feel. You've got like one grocery store, a couple gas stations, and it is growing out there, but you are 10 minutes from the city. So if you want that small town country feel with a little bit bigger lots and some more acreage, then Verina, Sandston, Highland Springs might be the place for you to go. Now, if you're looking for something more in the, hey, I want to be in the suburbs, I want tons to do, I want a mall around me, I want all the options, I want to be able to get to a grocery store in 2 seconds, well then the west end of Henrico, which is really north of the river or north of the city, might be the best place for you to go. That is very built up. It's got lots of older houses as well as brand new houses, as well as houses being built. And you are around Short Pump Mall, you've got grocery stores, everyone that you can name. You've got things to do, you've got stores, you've got restaurants, everything's out there, and you are definitely in the suburbs. You're still about 10 to 15 minutes from downtown if you live on the closer end, and if you live all the way out in Short Pump, the far Short Pump area, you're about 20 minutes to downtown. So it depends on where you want to be for the Henrico area. Now, if you go over to Chesterfield, you get both of those areas all mashed together. They really don't have distinct areas like they do in Henrico. In Chesterfield, you've got places like Midlothian as well as Woodlake. You could go to Breener Mill. All of those are more in the, hey, I'm in the suburbs, I've got lots of areas to do. Where if you go to Chester or South Chesterfield, you end up more in the country feel with larger lots and less people around you. Now, if you really want country and you're okay with driving and you don't have to go downtown maybe every day, or you're good with a 40-minute commute, you could go out to Powhatan and Amelia and even out to Hanover. Powhatan and Amelia, you are definitely in the country. You are getting an acre to, hundreds of acres depending on what you're looking for, and it is 100% a small town feel. In Hanover, it depends on where you are. If you go into Mechanicsville, you can get more into those suburbs area, where if you go to northern Hanover, you can get again out into the country, or you could go to really small town USA and end up in Ashland. So Richmond has everything to offer when it comes to suburbs and country. And then of course, if you want the city, Richmond City is where you want to be. There's lots of different areas in Richmond City that make up the city. Like we have Church Hill that are lots of smaller but historic homes. You've got the Fan and the Museum District, which are going to be on the other side of the city. Those are going to be larger and very historic row homes. You could go over to Scott's Addition, which is just getting built up with tons of breweries and wineries and condos over there. Or you could head to Carytown with smaller homes that are brick and single family, and you've got more of a yard. So even in the city of Richmond itself, there's lots of places to go. It just depends on what you're looking for and what area of town you want to be in, how busy you want to be, and do you want to be walkable or not. So if you're thinking about moving to Richmond and you're really not sure, but you want to sit down with somebody, love to chat with you, figure out what you do now and what is, what you enjoy right now where you live, and try to figure out the best place in Richmond for you to be able to do the exact same thing. Personally, I've lived in Verina, I've lived in the West End, I've lived in Chesterfield, and I'm now out in Powhatan because I grew up in Verina with a lot of land. I want a lot of land in a small town feel, so we ended up out there. So as somebody who's lived almost everywhere, I'd love to chat with you and figure out what's best for you. So don't forget to give us a call and like and subscribe, and we can't wait to see you here in Richmond.